2, 3.
Node 564562.
Good evening, Carlos.
KD7ZYM monitoring.
Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Wade. Good copy on both. I'll be waiting for the beginning of the net. Thank you.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. And also you'll find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we stream our audio to our sister station, 2-meter station, WW7ATS, with a frequency of 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Signed in by the video link on the internet already is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, Carlos, 87NP, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's start off the net with Ron, KD7QK.
Okay, this is Ron, KD7QKU. See if I can get into the repeater tonight. Here we go. We're coming, I think. There they are. There I am. Okay, well, good evening, all. It's nice to see everybody, hear everybody. So let's see. We're pretty much settled in now here in our new apartment or condominium, whatever you want to call it, in North Tacoma, just about a mile from where we live. So we had one deal on our house. They offered $10,000 more than the asking price, and but they backed out. They had one day to go before it would have been. They couldn't do that, but they did. They backed out. So then our real estate agent contacted the other folks that had made an offer, and so they resubmitted their offer, and we accepted it. So we'll know on Wednesday if that's going to go through or not. So we'll see how that all goes. Let's see, what else is going on? I went over to the Tacoma Ham Club today. It's the first time I've been over there, to Christmas, 4 months, maybe even 5 months. I don't know, at least 4 months. I think they thought I'd all died. I told them, well, I almost did, I was sort of like James. James had, I think it was pulmonary edema, and I had that UTI, and I got sepsis. And I was in the hospital, so it can really happen fast, let me tell you. So that's kind of what gave me a wake-up call, and I decided maybe we better move over here. So if something did happen to one of us, we'd be all situated. So we're here now, and it's nice. So it's nice to see Carlos. I think Richard might be out racing this weekend. If I remember correctly. So anyway, I'm going to turn it back to Net, and we'll see what everyone else has to say. So KD7QKU, back to Net.
KD K87 QKU, thanks with that. And let's make a trip to Oak Harbor. Bob, K9PQ, what say you? And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's see if Richard's with us, K7ITX. And no response from Richard, K7ITX. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
W7ITL. I'm just gonna. All right, good audio. All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Had a little dinner here right as I was getting ready for my turn. So, I'll make this one a short one so I can return back to finishing up. Yeah, I didn't hear Bob. Everybody else I heard so far. So, as Ron had mentioned, I went to the Radio Club of Tacoma today, saw him, and got to talk to him a little bit, and hung out there and had a little spaghetti. They had a spaghetti lunch with bread, and yeah, after that went to Costco and did a little shopping and got home just about an hour and a half ago, and been working on some things and getting ready for dinner. So with that said, turn it back to our net control, Dave. This is W7ITL.
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's go to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, sorry about the offer on your house falling through. Hopefully that will get resolved. You never know all the details of what goes on. Maybe their financing fell through or something like that. you just never know. The realtor may be able to find out, but probably only what they tell him anyway. Yeah, I'm glad you moved where you did. Well, not that I've ever seen that place before, but my wife and I have actually been considering moving, not in the near term, but several years from now. We're planning to move to a similar facility where we could get assisted living if we need it, and less property to care for. We've been considering downsizing as well. Not sure how that's going to work out, but we've been here for a few years. It's going to take us a couple years just to get all the junk out of here. I can't say I even know what all junk we have, but I guess if we haven't seen it in 20 years or more, we don't really need it, huh? I could probably just get a truck to back up to the door and start loading stuff into it, just start putting boxes in there. But I don't know, my birth certificate is in one of those boxes. I haven't found it. It's not like I needed it since I got my passport way back, I don't know how many years ago, but that was before this house. So anyway, like I said, it's there somewhere. Bob, we saw a good picture from you, but like Dave said, no audio. I got no audio on 2 meters and no audio from you on the television repeater. And Wade, good to see you. Understand you were a little busy today and going to have dinner shortly. Mostly I've been doing honeydews today, and not quite done. I'm not sure my wife will ever be done with me doing that. But anyway, back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. I'll pause momentarily in case anybody else would like to check in with the net. After hearing none, let's go to James, WU7N.
East Bellevue.
Thank you, Dave. This is James, WU7N, synchronizing up now. WU7N. WU7N. Okay, looks like I'm synchronized. I don't see my picture coming up yet, but I got a call sign and I heard audio. Well, let's see. Ron, sorry to hear about somebody backing out. That is annoying on the last day, right up there at the last minute. I think you're taking that fairly well. I wouldn't be taking it that well. Let's see. Also, as we get older, we all need medical care. I hear for the last 15 years, all of these I call old man bunker fantasies. And then I hear stories about it took an hour and a half to get to some sort of clinic, and then they decided that it was more than the clinic could handle. And then from there, it's another hour to the real hospital. When I had my problem back on March the 12th, I think from the time I made the phone call to the time they had me diagnosed was probably, I don't know what, hour and a half, something like that, maybe less time than that. It's hard to tell. So, vitamins and exercise. But I was telling someone, well, the vitamins and exercise didn't keep me from an emergency room visit. And they said, well, how do you know that that's not what kept you alive? So, hey, good point taken. Bob, of course, no audio. I got your other text saying you had your settings wrong. So, Wade, you had excellent audio via the Windows application. Anything involving spaghetti sounds good, so that's good. But I commend your spirit of adventure. Costco on a weekend. I think that's right in there with lighting the fuse on a Jeff Bezos rocket or something. I have stumbled into Costco's on a weekend before, and I was sorry every time I did it. And Jim, yes, cleaning out is a challenge. I've been meaning to do that for the last 15 years. I know I'm going to get around to it one of these days. But I've told enough people this summer for sure I'm going to try and get the garage and the living room and the guest room sorted out. So there'll be too many people who know that I failed. So that's going to be what gets me moving. Right now, the weather's fairly perfect. It's not too hot, especially for the garage. You can move stuff out into the garage, out under the sky, and then move things around, then move it all back in again. And if the rain doesn't catch you, then you're in good shape. Later on, it's so hot, everything cooks. So you really can't do that. So there's your motivation to get on it this week for sure. I think we had our last sprinkles of rain last night, and it probably won't be back for quite a while. Carlos, I saw your video of your moving solar cooker antenna. Anything with that cool of sound effects, I think you should just put the extra time and effort into it and make it into a giant death ray, because the sound effects are just perfect for that. Anyway, on that note, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, and turning it back to our net control in Seattle. Dave, take it away.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's pick up Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hills.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Oh, I also have the R2D2 voice. Interesting. Let me just test again. This is 87NP. Okay, maybe it's slightly better. Yeah, this was happening on James' transmission also. We were getting intermixed R2D2 voice, but that seems like a compression effect on the All-Star Link channel. Okay, so some notes. Ron, seems like you're in a good position recovering into the backup deal, so that's always good to have multiple deals there. So hoping that that second one will come through just fine. Bob, you probably figured out already. You had just the audio routing going into a different place, and Wade, good signal on both. On Jim, always good to keep some digital copies of these documents, birth certificates, and so to gather all the data in case it's needed to ask for new ones. But it's pretty good. I was gonna show some pictures that I've been out and I haven't been able to show them. Let me see if as I mentioned before, I was at the Hamvention this month, and so I had kind of the typical pictures of what you can find there at the flea market. This year they had good weather on the first day, but then on the second day they had some rain. So they didn't have as many people. This is an interesting radio. I have one of this. It's a FRG 9600. multiple power amplifiers, lots of interesting devices. I thought this one was an interesting project to display the ham clock on a TV. It's called openhamclock.com. Here's an interesting device. I'm sure it's for good communications. The military radios always look cool. I think this gentleman took them home again because quite expensive, but they were definitely good looking. Oh, here's some metal detectors. This is a digital equipment PDP-11, good computer from the 80s, 70s and 80s. It didn't last long there. It was bought quickly after I was able to take these pictures. Here's even a more ancient technology. Good price, $150. Some old computers. I think this is a portable antenna that a gentleman was just carrying around. It's definitely a little heavy. And then I spent some time talking to our friends from the DATV group there. And so I'll have some more to show on my second round. This was just the first part of pictures from Mvention. So sending it back to Dave, our net control from AD7NP in Cliveville.
DATV, thanks with that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. And for Ron, wow, 10,000 over, but then pulled the plug. Boy, that's got to hurt. But anyway, maybe the second person will try to match that. We'll see what happens with that. Wish you luck on that. And Bob, nice pictures that came across, but no audio. But I understand you figured out the problem, and so we'll take that up next with you. And Wade, off to the Ham Club. Boy, getting that done. The person that can get into everything, I don't understand how you can get the time to do that. But that's being young, I guess. So anyway, being able to do the Ham Club, then take care of what everything's coming with the 08 repeater and the group from the Western Washington Amateur Television Society group. Boy, congratulations on that. You're doing a grand job. And Jim, oh my gosh, being able to see what's coming on and thinking about maybe moving on in the near future to a secured facility for us elderly people. Good planning ahead and get rid of stuff. And James, oh my, got a good picture, good audio came across. Enjoyed that very much. And Carlos, boy, pictures from the Hamvention in Dayton. Boy, a lot of neat things there. So anyway, that's fantastic. And for me here in Lake City, I've got 59 degrees and sunny outside. But you know, the good news is sunset is at 8:52 tonight, which means, boy, within next week we should be 9 o'clock for sunset. So, boy, time is marching on for summer coming up. So that's about it. And for me, I finished off my Costco stuffed green peppers today. Had those for a couple of days and finished the last of it. And I've got to admit, the last batch I've got had more hamburger in it than rice. In the past, they loaded it up with a lot of rice, but this time there was a lot of hamburger in it. I was very impressed and enjoyed that very much. So with that, again, I'll get a quick ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. So let's go to Ron, KD7QK in Tacoma.
Okay, this is KD7QKU. I'm just waiting for it to come up. It's starting to come up, I guess. So, Bob, yeah, you had fantastic pictures again over there in Oak Harbor State Park, or Deception Pass State Park, I guess it is. So, but we couldn't hear your audio, as you know now. So, Carlos, yeah, I looked at the little video before we started. Excellent. Your workmanship on that dish is just fantastic. And your pictures from the Dayton Ham Fest was really good, interesting. The lady it was a single lady, I think, and I think that she was kind of emotional buying. I mean, she just went $10,000 over the nearest offer. And I just think then she had buyer's remorse and you just backed out. I don't know. We'll never know, I suppose, why. So I bought it. I'm using 2 laptops and I'm using my iPad. I'm transmitting with my iPad, and then I bought a reconditioned laptop. I bought one once before. My goodness, it looked like brand new, and I bought this one and it looks like brand new. So I don't know what the deal is. It said it was a 2022. I think it said it was, I forget what it said now. But anyway, it's a really nice little unit. So I have it doing the streaming. I have the other one doing Discord. And then I have my iPad, transmitting. So that works out really good for me. So, yeah, Jim, you were talking about maybe moving to a place. Well, down there in Olympia, I can't say the name of the place, but we talked to some people. They say there's a 5-year waiting list to get in down there. And I know over here, to get an apartment, there's 45 people on the list. And I asked them, and only 12 openings last year. So if that's the average, you'd be on that list for 3 or 4 years too. And then they have 6plexes, which are like, duplexes. They have 4plexes and 6plexes, and there's a 60 people waiting list on that. So if you're thinking about doing something, you better get on a waiting list. Otherwise, when you get around to it, you'll have to wait years before you get in. So, nice to see everybody. We haven't seen Lee for a long time. I'm kind of wondering what's going on with Lee. So anyway, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Don't know if I'm on. I don't see my call sign. Certainly not a picture. Don't know what's going on here. Maybe I should. Oh, there it's coming up. Boy, that was a long delay. Sorry about that. Let me mute the audio. Okay, and I can tell now because I'm hearing my audio. I forgot about it's been so long since I've used OBS. I forgot that I get the audio coming back into my headset. So I just muted it, but now I know it's actually getting there. Yeah, my problem here was in the past. I don't know what's different now, but in the past when I started up OBS and I already had my headset plugged in, it automatically selected them, but it didn't this time. So we're good now. Today I didn't hear it. I didn't think to listen to the output of the repeater, but they did the bicycle club ride today, Cascade Bicycle Club, I believe it was called, and they did a ride today and used our repeater for coordination. So it was really nice that it got used, and that from the email I saw after the event was over, it sounded like everything went really smoothly, and um, it was an email congratulating the hams for the good job that they did. But I'd say we should get a pat on the back as well for the good job that the repeater did. Um, Ron, yeah, the offer on your house. Well, I'm glad you have the backup, and I'm glad that they still were interested. I mean, I would have been very concerned if they had moved on and found a different house. So I'm really glad that they were interested and put in an offer. I would imagine this one will go through no problem. And I do understand your reason for the move with the medical issue. You know, I I have to admit I was curious. It seemed pretty quick to go from moving into that house to then moving into this other facility, but I totally understand. Makes perfect sense. I just didn't think of it at the time. Wade, good for you getting out to the club. Yeah, like Dave said, with everything you have going on and your family and everything, man, just good on you for getting out there and doing all that stuff. Jim, getting junk out of the house. I don't have all of my junk into the house yet, so I this is going to be a long, long slog for me. I'm afraid. It's not going as I planned, that's for sure. And the roofing, which is still ongoing, which was supposed to be done, I think, sometime around the 1st of May, I think, and is now they're looking at June 19th. I think hopefully it'll be done June 19th. Um, so I I'm going to ask them. I asked the board when I asked the board earlier. They said they really wanted me to wait till the whole thing was done. All of the units were done because whenever they're working on units, they have to move cars around and they need parking spaces. So they didn't want me to have the pod sitting for a few days, which is what it would have to be happening in order for me to get the pod unloaded here. So I'll let you know what happens there. Um, James, let's see. Yeah, the clinic and the long wait and all of that. One lesson I learned, I've always felt like the last thing I want to do is to call an ambulance because it's just going to cost a lot of money. What I found out with my mom when she took a fall and I happened to be there, I was scheduled to go visit them and I happened to walk in and it had just happened. So I was there as everything took place, and Medic One came and they decided to go ahead and transport mom herself in the medic unit. What I learned is if you take an ambulance or a medic to the emergency room, you go in right away. You go into a room right away. You don't sit in a waiting room somewhere. So, uh, unlike when I had my kidney stones and I sat in quite a bit of agony for about an hour in the waiting room before they took me in, and then they got me drugged up and everything was fine. But yeah, that was no fun. So seems like it's even though it's a lot of money, it might be worth it just to get in there quickly. Oh, and on that note of talking about our medical issues, I heard a great term for it. It's an organ recital, which we do frequently here on this net, and I'm as bad as anybody. Um, Costco on a weekend. I went to Costco once on Christmas Eve. And I thought it was being smart. I thought everybody has everything done by Christmas Eve. Oh, no, 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 no. I think it was the worst crowds I ever had to deal with ever at Costco on Christmas Eve. That was really a dumb idea. Carlos, I love that picture of the PDP 11. That brings back a lot of memories. My first professional job, which was work study at University of Washington Physics Department, was on a PDP 11 programming in assembly language. And still was a one of my favorite jobs I ever did. Really loved it. And what that guy was carrying, I'm sure, was a mag loop. I've seen mag loops like it, and yeah, it may be portable, but it's not light. I agree with you. Uh, Dave, the 852, I think you said sunset. That's really cool. I thought about going out again today because with the sun out, but I just didn't quite get it together in time to do that. And the stuffed green peppers, man, I can't. My gut can't handle green peppers, so I'm afraid that one's out for me. But I'm glad you got a good one. Um, and let's see. So what's going on in my life? Oh, we last night, Friday night is our usual role playing game night, and I have been running a game for a good 4 months, maybe more, and finally finished it a couple of weeks ago, and or maybe a week ago, and we started a new game. We're just starting a new game, so we're all creating our characters and just getting started. There's a lot into what you want to choose, what kind of character you want to play, the class and all of that, and what do you want to choose for your character. So that's kind of what we did last night, and I think we'll start in for real next Friday. So um, I was just thinking, here I am living by myself and a place where I don't know a lot of people. They do have social things going on here within our condo, but I'm pretty happy with the social life I have with you guys and with my role playing group guys, and they're both online. But it's still it's great just to get together and talk with you guys. Oh, I forgot to switch over to my Deception Pass picks, which I meant to do when I went online. But anyway, that's good for now. I'll send it.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's pick up Wade again, W7ITL in Tacoma.
All right, let's see. All right, I just got done with my dinner and been watching you guys. Checked into the double nickel net on 146.56, and just kind of chilling out here and enjoying the weather. And yeah, I don't know what was going on earlier, but I think it's fixed now. I haven't really noticed any dropouts too much. Carlos, interesting picks on that solar cooker antenna. I'm kind of curious what you're going to use it for. And then Ron, I will say I'm sorry to hear about your offer falling through, but it sounds like you might have another one. And that's about all I got to say. W7ITL, back to net control. This
W7ITL, thanks with that. And let's go to Covington Land. Pick up Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Okay, Jim, you mentioned something there that sounded quite intriguing. I missed it. Something about video regarding Carlos's antenna and audio which resembled a death ray. Thanks for mentioning that, Carlos. You need to show that again. And thank you for the pictures from Dayton so far. Understand more coming. OpenHamClock.com. I have not seen that before. I'll have to go look and see what there is there. Let's see, Ron. Oh my goodness, 5-year waiting list. I have several friends who moved into senior housing / assisted living as required, and yeah, a lot of them had a waiting list, but man, I didn't have any clue it might be 5 years long. Wow. I have two friends living in a place in Kent, and my wife and I went there kind of to visit them and to check out the facilities, and my wife kind of liked it. They had, you were mentioning the last time about a bistro where you are. Yeah, I was curious. I know you've got a full kitchen there. I was just curious if the bistro was in the same building as you or if it was in a different building. This one where my wife and I were in Kent, they said they have a bistro there, but if you are a resident there, you could go down there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and just kind of help yourself, make yourself a sandwich or something like that, even in the middle of the night. So I thought that was kind of cool, at least until they told me how much it cost. But kind of cool not to have to worry about shopping. At least at the facility that my wife and I looked at. But that's a good point. I should investigate waiting lists, look at some potential places. Bob, delay with the pod. Sorry about that. Organ recital. Yeah, that's funny. Maybe pretty accurate though. And Christmas Eve. Yeah, I don't understand why, but Christmas Eve is busy everywhere. I think maybe a number of people think that because it's so close to the holiday, perhaps things will be available at a reduced price. I have not found that to be true, however. So I don't know. There must be some reason why everyone goes there kind of at the last minute, rather than being at home enjoying Christmas cheer or something. Wade, yeah, not sure what you did with the audio, but it's better now than it was earlier in the net. Thanks for whatever you did there. And double nickel net, 14656, that sounds like simplex frequency. I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to see if I can receive anything. Might only be if someone's kind of close to me. I'm down in somewhat of a valley here, off toward actually about halfway around my property. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's pick up James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Wow, that was fast. I heard my voice come through on 2 meters almost immediately. That was too good to be true. Okay, so I guess that's the secret. I just jumped on Dave right away with a 2 meter transmission, and then punched the button, and wow, that really flipped over fast. I don't know if any changes were made on that or not. Well, let's see. Bob, I was going to say your audio was great, and your thing about organ recital, I'm going to definitely steal that and use that. I can think of several places where that's going to fit in. And let me guess, okay, if that was your favorite job on a PDP doing assembly language coding and you really enjoyed it, I'm willing to bet that was your lowest paid job. I noticed in my career it always seemed to work out that way. When you're having to have uncomfortable sit-downs with personnel and an employee and then some kind of a third party or something, those always paid the most. And then the ones that I really enjoyed the most, those paid the least. It always seems to work out that way. I don't know. Maybe someone else has a counter example. Still looking for that job where I could make lots of money and really enjoy doing it and have it be legal. Okay, what I said, Jim, Carlos put out a video on the digital chat of the antenna actually moving, and it really makes some very cool sound effects as it moves around. And I was just going to suggest he spend the extra $10 million rather than just bouncing signals off the moon, turn it into a big death ray. So, the goal would be to blast a new crater in the moon big enough to be seen with optical wavelengths from Earth. I think that's a reasonable starting point. It was just a suggestion, of course. Let's see. Today was the 5th Saturday drill, and we're going to have to work on this because this did not occur to me, but the bicycle people were using the 08 repeater all day today. And so I'm sure the King County Aries probably had to fall back to their secondary repeater, and I did not tell them in advance. I should have caught that, but I did not. But I guess it's just like a real emergency. There's going to be so many people on all these repeaters, you're going to have to decide which ones work and which ones don't. If someone else was listening, I was busy with the 5th Saturday drill, and doing something out at a fire station. So all of this didn't occur to me until the end of the day. I thought everyone might get a laugh out of this. There's a new fire station in Bellevue, and the Bellevue group installed a new radio in an operations center at that new fire station just last week. And when we came in, the radio's not there. And myself and the other gentleman I was with, did not have anything to do with putting the radio in. So we were wondering where it was. We started doing a little search, and a fireman helped us. And we finally found it locked in a cabinet with a key. And so we pulled it out, and we finally found the antenna connection in the wall, and it was all very confusing. Well, I was taking pictures all over the place to document for a file, so you could literally hand this to someone who'd never been there before, and they would be able to find everything. And it turns out that the radio had been permanently installed last week. And today, when this gentleman I get there, you cannot make this up. There is a very heavy cabinet there with a microwave and a coffee machine where our table with the radio and all the equipment used to be. So somebody moved the radio and all the equipment into a cabinet, locked it in the cabinet, and then installed the coffee machine, the microwave, and the big heavy cabinet in this room that theoretically, if used, I wouldn't think you would want a coffee machine, a microwave, or a big heavy food cabinet right at that location. That makes no sense to me at all. But it's not, it's a backup. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this comes out. But I thought, just the nature of large organizations and chaos, I thought everybody get a smile out of that one. Let's see. Carlos, I don't know if I said it before. Thank you very much for the Dayton pictures. Those look like a very interesting time. Certainly appreciate the video of the antenna and also the Dayton pictures. And with that, I think, let's see, it's 48 minutes after the hour. I'll turn it back to our net control off in Seattle there, Dave. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks for that. And let's go to Clyde Hill, to Carlos, 87NP. What say you, Carlos?
Okay, I guess I'm on the air again. This is 87NP. Back on the air. Good question. Wait, don't know about the PL filter. That's a good idea. So on a couple of notes, seems like Ron is starting a new business. Multiple laptops. Is going to have a kind of control station for the DATV repeater. You can observe multiple repeaters at the same time. That's pretty good. So I hope you're having good luck with those laptops. Bob, good audio this time. Everything works. And Wade, regarding I have two feeds, one for 1.2 gigahertz, and it's not small. It is. This is what they call a septum for 1.2. I don't know if I can point it. Yeah. So that's the inside. It has one area for the reception and the other for the transmission. So it basically has two connectors, one on one for RX, the other for TX. So that's my 1.2. And then I have a much smaller one for 10 gigs. But there's not an easy way to just pick one or the other. So I'm going to go with 1.2 gigahertz first. I hope to have it ready tomorrow. Just before the net, I had to go to Home Depot to get some more parts. I think I'll have to become a shareholder of Home Depot because I spend too much time there. Now, on just a continuation of some of the pictures. I don't know if I can do this way. Oh no, this is confusing. Let's get out of the way of the pictures. So these were the friends from SatNogs, which have kind of satellite receiving. Here's a CubeSat for kind of an example from the AMSAT. Lots of people from the AMSAT. There's a good lineup of the amplifiers from the DX Engineering. DX Engineering always has a really good setup over there. I was looking at one of the HF amplifiers there, this one. I have an older version of this one. This is the antenna I have now, the Usler 6VTV, and that's the plate of radials that I also have now in the roof where I planted radials. That was good. These are some digital nodes that they had there. This is an interesting antenna for 1.2. It's one of those mobile radio antennas for the old phones. This is a new microphone that ICOM was presenting at the show, which is a balanced microphone then with the connected to ICOM. So it has an XLR connection in the back. I thought it looked pretty good. I don't think this is an ICOM exclusive because the Kenwood folks also had a diagram of a very similar microphone. So it's probably something coming from China. Oh, going in the wrong direction. This is the new ICOM 5200 that they had on display there. And this was a plastic box of what they call the X26, a new radio from ICOM that they gave no specs and just put this plastic box inside another plastic box. I didn't think that was that good. Some interesting antennas for the 905. This was the LNA that they ended up buying. Some more military radios, always look great. This was a quite interesting device from some kind of gyroscope. Seemed like, I don't know, from the Cold War. Looked good. Here's an old VT100. Bob, if you did programming on the PDP-11, maybe you use this VT100s. Here's our old friend from last year that I showed. His license plate is Porcupine. It's from Florida, and as you can see from the antennas, I think it's a good name. This gentleman had an antenna attached to his hard hat on top, and this is Handy Talk. Interesting perspective. Oh, and this is the folks from the DATV club, and Bob, I promised this gentleman that we would send him some details on. I described to him how the thing works and the app, and he was very much interested in more information. Let me just move quickly. Uh, yeah, so Jim, I don't think I have the video, but this is what I also sent in the pictures. These were all the brackets that I was putting together for my new dish antenna for Earth-Moon bounce. And so these are some of the parts that I had machined to attach to the rotator. Here they are, all assembled. And then here's the antenna. I don't have the movement. I don't think I can play the video here on this setup, but this is the end result of the antenna. I think that's pretty much it. Before I was in Dayton, I was at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and so I will have some good pictures to show at one next opportunity. Very good. Sending it back to Dave, net control from 87NP in Clyde Hill.
MP. Thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, seeing the sun setting at this point, it's encouraging that summer is really on its way here. And for Carlos, boy, with that solar cooker with the parabolic antenna, in television we use parabolic devices for audio covering sporting events, and one has to be careful because it is a solar cooker. The same point for where the microphone is placed is the hot spot for solar energy coming out of the parabolic, and we fried a few mics in a few football games doing that. So that was kind of interesting. And then something interesting was getting into shotgun microphones. Oh my gosh. When we first started playing with shotgun microphones, we went to a boxing match and thought, boy, it'd be really great to get the sounds of the gloves hitting and bang, bang, bang sort of in the audio. Well, this had, let's see, risers around the rink, and that's where the audience was sitting, and we pointed the mic towards the guys fighting, but unfortunately we picked up a lot of foul language coming in from the risers from the fans, so we didn't go around using that anymore, but it was fun to try it out. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City, and I'm going to push it back up to Ron, KD7Q in Tacoma.
Okay, this is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, Carlos, you sure make our net entertaining with all your pictures, and it sounds like you even have more, so maybe we can see more later on. To answer Jim's question, the bistro and the dining room are in the middle of the complex here, so we either have to walk, and it's a pretty good walk, or drive, so we've chosen to drive. They do have transportation, so we could call and have them pick us up. They even have kind of like a glorified golf cart that's enclosed, in plexiglass and stuff, so they can shuttle you around. So anyway, yeah, Carlos, I'm anxious to hear your report on your antenna, how it works. It really looks good. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I'm going to turn it back then. It's more fun listening to you guys than it is listening to me. So KD7QK, back to net.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. And for a final, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Carlos, the VT100 definitely brought back memories. Oddly enough, for my work study, I'm trying to remember. I think we actually used a teletype for that. I don't think we even had monitors. Um, but whoops, got to mute. I did, however, have a job as a contract programmer for and system manager for a VAX system, a VAX cluster, and we had VT100s, VT220s, and at the time then the very brand new high state of the art VT320s, which were still by today's standards they were nothing. They were still monochrome monitors. And but Yeah, they got a lot of use. So yeah, brought back memories. Thanks for that. And I think that's all I've got. Other than to say, James, you're right. That was one of my lowest paying jobs I ever had. Probably lower paying than the lifeguarding job that I had, but I got college credit for it as well. So that was a good thing. Okay, 73, everybody. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And it's closing time for the net, but is there anything from anybody that would like to come on before we shut down the net? Hearing none, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. On behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net at 9:02. Good evening, all.